Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep into a relationship that unfolded, with the backdrop of Isla Nublar at Jurassic Park. Talk about a high-stakes environment.
Right.
We're going to explore Cole and Shaélynn. Their connection is complex and ultimately tragic. So was their connection doomed from the start? What makes their story so heartbreaking?
Yeah.
And was there ever a chance for them to make it work?
Big questions.
Let's find out.
Okay, so it's really fascinating to see how their personalities and their motivation clash right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Cole, as you mentioned, he's friendly. He's trusting, maybe even a little naive.
Yeah.
And he's drawn to Shaélynn, his intelligence and that air of mystery she has around her. But he's also yearning for a genuine connection.
Yeah.
And he really wants to find that.
Yeah, he's looking for that.
Exactly.
And Shaélynn, she's ambitious.
Yeah.
She's guarded.
Yeah.
Her past has definitely shaped her into someone who keeps people at a distance. She's clearly using her charm to get information out of Cole for biosyn.
Yeah. Not a great start.
No.
Definitely sets the stage for a dynamic where trust is constantly undermined.
Right.
And you see their core values and priorities clash repeatedly.
Yeah.
Shaélynn is such a workaholic. She's completely consumed by her mission for biosyn, while Cole is more laid back.
Yeah.
He values those personal connections over professional ambition.
Yeah, they're speaking totally different languages.
Totally. I think one of the most fascinating things about this relationship is just how it begins, because you see right away Cole is just completely smitten with Shaélynn, like head over heels.
Oh, totally.
He is going out of his way to run into her, to figure out her schedule. Like, we see him asking coworkers about her.
Yeah, like almost a little stalkerish, right? Like a little too much.
I mean, he was definitely infatuated.
Yeah.
And she's much more reserved.
Yes, very much so.
Like keeping him at arm's length, not quite reciprocating that same level of, enthusiasm.
So he's filing for her.
Yeah.
Blinded by this attraction. And she's got this whole other agenda.
And it's not just that she's keeping him at a distance, right?
Right.
He actually starts to open up to her.
He does.
He's telling her about his past, like some pretty personal things, his burnout, the death of his parents, like...
Wow, heavy stuff.
This is heavy stuff, and he's putting it all out there.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that is, like, that could be a genuine desire to connect. He's like...
He wants to connect with her.
Yeah, I'm hurting. I want someone to share this with.
But it also creates this opportunity, right? Like, she can exploit this trust.
Totally.
This vulnerability.
Yeah, he's just laying all his cards on the table, not realizing she might be holding a few aces up her sleeve.
Right, exactly. Cole becomes like almost dependent on her, emotionally dependent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see these like...
glimpses of intimacy.
Yes. Like
he tries to impress her with this...
fancy dinner.
This fancy dinner, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like...
the lines are blurring.
It's getting blurry.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's blurring for them. Right. But it's blurring for us, too. Like,
it is.
What's real?
Yeah.
What's manipulation?
We're looking at these sources, and we're trying to figure out what is actually going on. Yeah. Like, what is real?
Totally.
And then you have...
because she's juggling this mission.
She is.
Right.
Sneaking around.
Collecting surveillance.
All this stuff.
Right.
But then there are these moments where she seems...
affected by him.
Like, almost like she's falling for him.
It's confusing.
Yeah, despite herself? Or was it all just part of the plan? Like, I can't even wrap my head around this.
Yeah,
That's the question that keeps coming up, right?
Yes. And then, of course, it gets even more complicated.
Oh, here we go.
When Cole is appointed as the new CEO of InGen.
Right, like... talk about high stakes.
The stakes just went way up.
Yeah, because now it's not just about information.
Right, it's about influencing the future of the company.
Exactly.
And Shaélynn's actions have even bigger consequences now.
Wow.
More pressure, which makes what happens next even more tragic.
Okay, what are we talking about?
The bombing at the power station.
Oh, right.
Cole gets caught in the blast.
Oh, no.
And ends up in a coma.
Wow. Talk about a turning point.
Yeah, huge turning point.
Yeah.
Cole is hit with amnesia.
Oh, gosh.
Forgetting key details of their last encounter, including Shaélynn's betrayal.
That adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
Yeah, the amnesia adds a layer of dramatic irony to their relationship.
Yeah.
Shaélynn is burdened with guilt now.
Right.
And the pressure from biosyn to exploit his memory loss
you could advantage
for their own gain. She's facing a real moral dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
And it just adds to the tension building between them.
Definitely. Right. Which completely changes the dynamic between them.
Oh, absolutely, because now he's totally reliant on her.
Yeah, completely vulnerable.
And she's got this big secret. Right, like, does she abandon the mission?
Right.
And actually care for him?
Or does she see this as an opportunity
to like, further her own goal?
To manipulate the situation even more, yeah.
And what's crazy is she actually stays.
Yeah.
She takes care of him.
She nurses him back to health.
Right, so is that genuine?
Right. Is this real concern?
Yeah, or is it just another
layer of deception?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell.
It's hard to say for sure, looking at the sources.
Yeah, because her actions,
they suggest a level of care.
Right.
That goes beyond just
the mission.
Right. But at the same time, she's in a really powerful position now.
Yeah, because he doesn't remember anything.
Exactly. So she can shape his whole perception of her.
Right. She can tell him whatever she wants.
Exactly.
That's scary.
It's both like a sign of maybe genuine concern, but also like
really like a calculated,
like a manipulative thing. It's like she's playing both sides,
right?
And he's totally oblivious,
completely oblivious to the danger.
Yeah.
In a really poignant moment, Cole, completely oblivious to the betrayal,
right,
asks Shaélynn about her past.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, who are you? Where did you come from?
Right, he's starting to poke holes.
Exactly, he's starting to see through the facade.
Right.
And she realizes she can't keep this up forever. No.
She has to make a choice.
Oh.
Does she come clean and risk losing him, or double down on the deception and risk losing herself?
She shares a partial truth.
Oh.
Reveals vulnerability, which deepens their connection.
Yeah.
But also complicates their dynamic even further. She starts to open up to Cole about her past, which is something that she very rarely does.
That is interesting.
Yeah, she tells him about her parents, her father's suicide.
Wow.
How she felt like her mother always chose work over family.
Heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
It deepens their connection, even though she's still hiding the truth about biosyn.
Right. Of course.
And what's interesting is how Cole responds to this vulnerability.
How does he?
He shares his own tragic backstory, losing his parents young, growing up in an orphanage.
Wow. They've both had really tough lives.
Yeah. And so this exchange creates this really powerful bond built on this shared pain.
Right.
But also, unfortunately, it's built on lies.
Oh, that's so sad.
Right. So this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
They're opening up.
Yeah.
They're connecting. But it's all based on deception.
Right.
No wonder things start to unravel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's almost as if she's yearning for a genuine connection. But the weight of her deceit is pulling her
in the opposite direction.
In the opposite direction.
Right.
This is where Shaylynn's impossible dilemma becomes even more pronounced.
Right.
And that unraveling is directly linked to the arrival of a new player, Shivak Garland.
Ah, Shivak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's the new head of InGen.
Right.
And as we'll find out, a major figure in the Chimera organization.
Right.
So Shivak's arrival changes everything.
It does.
He's a threat, not just to InGen, but to Cole and Shaylynn's relationship.
Interesting.
He sees right through her, doesn't he?
He does. He sees right through her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can almost see her squirming,
Yeah.
under his gaze.
Totally. And what's even more interesting is, like, what are Shivak's motivations?
Right.
Like, why is he targeting Shaylynn specifically?
Yeah. Is it just for information?
Right.
Or did he, sense something deeper? Like a vulnerability he could exploit?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
He suspected her of being a corporate spy from the very beginning and even confronts her about it.
Does she crack?
No. She manages to deflect his suspicions. But what's fascinating is that this confrontation, instead of scaring her off, it seems to push her further into Cole's arms.
Oh, interesting.
It's like the danger that Shivak represents.
Yeah.
Strengthens their bond.
Right. Like they're united against a common enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, Cole still has no idea about Shaylynn's true allegiances.
Right. He's in the dark.
He sees her as someone who needs protecting.
Uh-huh.
Someone who's been victimized.
Right. Now imagine yourself in Shaylynn's position. On one hand, you have feelings for Cole, a chance at a genuine connection.
Yeah.
On the other, loyalty to biosyn, an organization that's provided her with a sense of purpose and belonging.
Right.
It's a classic moral dilemma.
Yeah, talk about a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
If she comes clean, she risks losing Cole. But continuing the deception puts him in danger.
Exactly. And this is where the tension really ramps up.
Okay.
How will Cole react when he discovers the truth about the woman he's falling for?
And slowly, the pieces start falling into place for Cole. He discovers a coded message.
Ooh, a coded message.
From Cole Shaélynn.
Okay, the paleontologist.
Yeah, revealing a deeper conspiracy within InGen. And he realizes Shavak isn't who he claims to be.
Oh, no.
There are forces at play that he doesn't fully understand.
Right.
And his suspicions about Shaélynn grow right alongside those realizations.
That makes sense.
He starts questioning her motives, her actions.
Yeah.
Everything she's told him.
Right.
He confronts her, asking why she didn't report Shavak's suspicious behavior.
Right.
Why she never confided in him.
It's like he's seeing her with new eyes.
Totally. Eyes that are slowly opening to the truth.
Yeah. And what does she do?
She offers him that deal.
The deal, yeah.
Like, ask me anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth.
But is that honesty, or is that just another way to...
That's the brilliance of it.
Yeah.
She's appearing vulnerable and open.
Yeah.
But she's still controlling what information she reveals. It's calculated.
What a gamble.
Yeah, hoping honesty, even belated honesty, can salvage their relationship.
I know, it's crazy.
That's a big risk.
Talk about high stakes.
Huge stakes.
But the timing couldn't be worse.
Why?
Just as Cole is wrestling with these revelations, Shavak makes his move.
What does he do?
He disrupts a company meeting.
Especially during Shavak's speech announcing his candidacy for CEO.
It's a masterpiece of manipulation, honestly.
It really is. He manages to undermine Cole without directly attacking him.
Cole being the current park manager, of course.
Right. He talks about all the recent tragedies and kind of implies that Cole's just not up to the task.
Like he's too weak or too inexperienced to handle this crisis.
It's brilliant and insidious all at the same time.
And then you have Cole Shaélynn, the head of paleontology.
Oh, yeah. He throws a real wrench into Shavak's plans.
He stands up in the middle of the meeting and publicly accuses Shavak
of being involved with the Casey group, even of being complicit in Brandon Columba's death. Total chaos erupts. The meeting descends into shouting and accusations.
But instead of defending himself, Shavak does something completely unexpected.
He has Marcos arrested.
It's a power move, pure and simple. He silences his opposition and controls the narrative.
And the way he does it is just cold-blooded. He plays the victim, claiming Marcos is part of a smear campaign.
All very calculated.
Exactly, and you can see the impact this has on Cole and Shaélynn.
Cole's already rattled by Shavak's subtle jabs, and now he sees firsthand just how ruthless the man can be.
It shakes him to his core.
And for Shaélynn, who's been trying to control things behind the scenes, it's a major setback.
Her plans are unraveling, and Cole's looking more and more vulnerable.
The tension in that room must have been palpable.
Oh, I can only imagine. And then Shavak drops another bombshell.
He claims to know who killed John Hammond.
Another calculated move designed to destabilize Cole and Shaélynn. It puts her in an incredibly difficult position. You know, that claim about knowing who killed John Hammond really throws the whole meeting into a frenzy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a classic power move by Shavak, you know, trying to assert control and further undermine anyone who might oppose him.
But it's Cole's reaction that I find really interesting.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, up until this point, he's been pretty passive, you know, kind of letting Shaélynn steer things.
Right, he hasn't really asserted himself as a leader.
But suddenly he steps up and delivers this passionate speech.
Defending himself against Shavak's insinuations. It's a turning point for Cole. He's finally taking initiative. He's not just reacting to Shavak's manipulation anymore.
He's actually fighting back.
And he even directly accuses Shavak, you know, of being more interested in power than in the safety of the park and its employees.
So he's trying to expose Shavak's true motives.
It's a bold move.
But Shavak's a master manipulator. He's not going down without a fight.
Shavak has successfully planted seeds of doubt, not just about Cole's competence, but also about his sanity.
The psychological impact is huge.
And then Shavak does something even more drastic.
He pulls out a gun and takes Cole hostage.
It's chaos, pure chaos. Everyone's screaming and running for cover.
And as Shavak's making his escape, he shouts out one final accusation.
That Shaélynn Moore is the real killer of John Hammond. Can you imagine the shock in that room?
It's a devastating blow to Cole and to Shaélynn.
Their relationship was already fragile. Now it's hanging by a thread.
So we're left with Cole traumatized, betrayed, and grappling with this impossible situation.
Who does he believe, Shavak or Shaélynn?
And how does he cope with the emotional fallout of this whole ordeal?
So we're left with Shavak on the run and this bombshell accusation against Shaélynn.
So we don't know if he believes Shavak or not.
Not explicitly, but we do see him withdrawing from Shaélynn. He becomes distant and reserved.
Almost like he's shutting down.
Yeah.
But he doesn't turn his back on Shaélynn completely, right? He doesn't order her arrest or anything like that.
No, and that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating. Cole is caught in this web of uncertainty.
He has Shivak's accusations on one hand and history with Shaélynn on the other.
He has to decide who to trust, and the weight of that decision is immense.
It's a heartbreaking dilemma.
And it shows just how insidious Shivak's manipulation is, even if Cole ultimately concludes that Shaélynn is innocent. The damage is done.
That seed of doubt has been planted.
Exactly. And that's hard to erase. Can Cole overcome his doubts? Can they rebuild trust? Or is their relationship broken beyond repair? Well, his initial reaction is a mix of anger and disbelief. On one hand, it shields Cole from the full impact of Shaylynn's betrayal. But on the other hand, it forces him to piece together the truth through fragmented memories.
So what's Cole's response to all of this?
Well,
is he just passively accepting this fragmented reality?
Not at all. He's driven to uncover the truth, fueled by a need for answers, and let's face it, a bit of heartbreak.
Yeah, I bet.
This determination speaks volumes about his character.
Yeah, it shows that despite his naivete, Cole possesses this strong sense of justice.
Right.
A refusal to be manipulated.
Absolutely.
It's not just a lovesick puppy. He's a man on a mission to reclaim his agency.
Exactly. And this mission ultimately leads him to the final confrontation with Shaélynn. It's a pressure cooker situation. She's caught between a rock and a hard place, forced to choose between Cole and Shivak.
What a tense moment.
Imagine the weight of her decision, loyalty to an organization that's given her purpose.
Yeah.
Versus the possibility of a genuine connection with Cole.
Right.
A connection that now seems tainted by her deceptions.
I bet she's wishing she could just rewind and make different choices.
Maybe.
So how does this confrontation play out? Does Shaélynn try to explain herself to Cole?
She does, in a way. It's a moment of raw emotion that reveals her internal struggle.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to convince Cole.
For Cole, it's devastating. He has to accept that Shaylynn's love was never real, adding another layer of heartbreak to his already difficult situation.
Yeah.
And Shaélynn is left with an impossible choice. Escape with Shivak and potentially redeem herself.
Right.
Or stay with Cole despite the heartbreak and the uncertainty.
Wow.
It's a decision that will define her future.
Yeah.
And reveal whether she prioritizes self-preservation or allows herself to embrace the possibility of genuine connection.
Big choice.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it really highlights the power imbalance in their relationship. Shaélynn was always in control, holding all the cards while Cole was kept in the dark about her true nature and motivations.
He was essentially falling for an illusion.
Yeah.
This carefully constructed persona that was all part of Shaylynn's plan.
Right.
It's heartbreaking because you see how much he genuinely cared for her.
He did. And his amnesia just adds to the tragedy.
Oh, totally.
Imagine trying to piece together your past and your feelings while grappling with this bombshell about Shaylynn's betrayal.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for disaster.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like he was constantly searching for something solid to hold on to.
Yeah.
But the ground kept shifting beneath him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their story really underscores the destructive nature of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
In any relationship.
For sure.
The foundation is cracked from the beginning, and it's only a matter of time before everything crumbles.
It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's coming, but you can't stop it.
I know.
So to circle back to those questions we posed earlier.
Okay.
Why was their connection doomed from the start?
Let's unpack that.
Okay, so it was a combination of factors.
Okay.
Firstly, their fundamental differences played a major role.
Okay.
You have Cole, the trusting optimist, seeking genuine connection.
And then you have Shaélynn, the guarded pragmatist, driven by her mission.
Right.
They were operating on completely different wavelengths.
Yeah, like oil and water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With different values and priorities.
They just weren't compatible in a fundamental way.
No.
And then there's the constant deception.
Right.
Shaylynn's lies and hidden agenda poisoned their relationship.
From the inside out, trust is the bedrock of any meaningful connection.
It is.
And that was shattered repeatedly.
Throughout their journey.
Yeah. And Cole's amnesia just threw gasoline on an already raging fire.
Absolutely. So we can see why it was doomed.
Right.
But what makes their story so deeply heartbreaking?
I think it's the combination
Yeah.
of unfulfilled potential.
Right.
And the fact that Cole genuinely cared for Shaélynn.
Yeah.
Despite everything, for a brief time,
Yeah.
they found solace and connection.
They did.
We saw glimpses
Right.
of what could have been
Yeah.
if the circumstances were different.
Right.
If they were both able to be honest and vulnerable with each other.
Yeah, those stolen moments of vulnerability are so poignant.
They are.
Because they highlight the tragedy of their situation.
But those moments were built on a foundation of sand.
They were.
Ultimately washed away by the tide of Shaélynn's secrets.
And the fact that Cole, despite everything, still held on to hope for their relationship makes his ultimate realization all the more devastating.
It does, yeah. It's like he was clinging to a life raft in a stormy sea. And she pulled it out from under him.
Where Cole discovers Shaélynn's true motives is particularly heart-wrenching.
It is.
He's not just angry. He's profoundly disappointed and betrayed. The person he thought he loved never truly existed.
It's a crushing realization.
It is.
Makes you wonder if their relationship could have ever worked. Was there any chance for them?
It's hard to say for sure. The odds were definitely stacked against them from the beginning. The lies, the betrayal, the corporate espionage, it all created a toxic environment where love could hardly breathe.
But what if Shaélynn had been honest with Cole from the start? What if she'd been upfront about her work with Biosyn and allowed herself to be vulnerable with him?
That's the million-dollar question. If the foundation of their relationship had been built on honesty and trust, perhaps things could have unfolded differently. Maybe they could found a way to navigate their differences and support each other through the challenges.
But we'll never know, will we?
We won't.
Their story unfolded the way it did.
It did.
Leaving us with this bittersweet mix of heartache and a lingering sense of what could have been.
Exactly. And that's part of what makes their story so compelling.
It is.
It leaves us pondering the complexities of love, trust, and betrayal, and the choices we make when faced with difficult circumstances. Their story also raises questions, about the clash between personal desires and the greater good. Shaélynn was torn between her loyalty to Biosyn, her feelings for Cole, and her own survival instincts.
She was in a high-pressure situation.
She was.
Caught in the middle of this corporate war with the man she supposedly loved. Looking at her with such hurt and confusion. It's a complex choice.
It is.
And for Cole, the realization that his whole relationship was based on a lie must have been incredibly painful.
It must have been.
He's lost his memories. His best friend.
Oh, wow.
And now he has to face the fact that the woman he trusted betrayed him so deeply.
It's a lot.
It's almost too much to bear. As Shaélynn walks away with Shivak in that final scene, we're left wondering, was it purely self-preservation? Or was there some genuine care for Cole buried beneath all those layers of deception?
That ambiguity is what makes Shaélynn such a fascinating character.
She is.
Her motivations are still shrouded in mystery.
Definitely.
Leaving the audience to ponder the complexities of her choices. Did she choose survival over love? Did she ever feel remorse for the pain she caused Cole? We're left grappling with those questions.
She's a walking paradox.
She is.
Brilliant and ruthless. Calculating yet vulnerable. That final shot of her disappearing into the jungle leaves us with this lingering sense of unease.
I can see that.
What becomes of her? What will she do next?
It's an open ending.
It is.
That invites us to draw our own conclusions.
It does.
Did she find redemption? Did she ever regret her actions? These are questions that stay with you.
They do.
Long after the story is over.
It all comes back to that central theme of their relationship. The destructive nature of secrets and the fragility of trust. Cole and Shaélynn's connection was essentially doomed from the start.
It was.
Poisoned by those lies and hidden agendas.
It's a cautionary tale.
It is.
Reminding us that even in the most extraordinary circumstances, love needs honesty and vulnerability to thrive.
It does.
Without those essential elements,
Yeah.
It can become a weapon, leaving a trail of heartbreak.
And shattered illusions. So here we are at the heart of the matter. Was there ever any genuine love between Cole and Shaélynn? Or was it all just a means to an end for her?
It's the question that's been hanging over us this whole time, hasn't it?
Yeah, like from the start, we see her using him.
Right, exploiting his feelings.
Yeah, to get closer to Injun's secret.
I mean, she was a pro. You gotta give her that.
Oh, absolutely. She was good.
Slipping into offices, planting those bugs.
Yeah, and remember when she was using those seemingly casual conversations with Cole?
Oh, yeah, extracting information?
Like it was all part of the plan.
But then you have those other moments.
The ones that make you wonder.
Yeah, like when she chose to stay with him after the bombing.
That one really got me.
Right. It would have been so easy to just disappear.
Yeah, use the chaos to her advantage.
But she didn't.
She took care of him.
Nursed him back to health.
And it wasn't just that. Like, remember those conversations on Isla Nova?
Oh, about her father.
Yes. She let her guard down.
Opened up in a way we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, it felt like genuine connection.
Right. And it makes you question her motives.
So are we saying she actually fell for him?
It's possible.
Wow. Even while she was deceiving him.
That's the complexity of this whole thing.
Yeah. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It really is, and it makes that final decision even more, well...
heartbreaking.
Yeah, to choose the mission over Cole, knowing the pain it would cause.
I mean, it had to be a tough choice, right?
But let's not forget, Cole has some responsibility here, too.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He was so quick to trust.
I mean, love makes you do crazy things.
Right. He wanted to believe in her.
And he ignored those red flags.
Oh, there were plenty of them.
Like he was so focused on winning her over.
He missed those little inconsistencies.
Yeah, those hints that something wasn't quite right.
It's classic, wanting to see what you want to see.
He was looking for connection, and he projected that onto her.
Filling in the blanks with his own hopes.
So are we saying he's partially to blame for how it ended?
Not blame, but maybe a little naive.
Yeah, a little reckless maybe.
They both played a role in this whole mess.
He was blinded by desire, and she was bound by duty.
And in the end, it just made a real relationship impossible. Well, there you have it.
We do.
A deep dive into a relationship.
That's right.
As captivating as it is tragic.
It is.
We explored the reasons their connection failed, the factors that led to its demise, and those lingering questions that make their story so unforgettable.
And as we wrap up,
yes,
we encourage you to reflect on Cole and Shaélynn's journey.
Okay.
How do trust and deception play out in our own lives?
Yeah.
What are we willing to sacrifice for love? And when faced with impossible choices, how do we determine the right path?
Right.
These are timeless questions that we all grapple with as we navigate the intricate tapestry of human relationships. So for everyone listening, as you think about Cole and Shaélynn, ask yourself, could it have worked if things were different? Or were they just star-crossed lovers caught in a web of corporate chaos and dinosaur drama?
And that's where we leave it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating story.